Listen, before we begin, I have to put this up here right in front so that there's no misunderstanding. Nothing presented in this recorded recovery seminar is intended to be, listen, nor does it constitute diagnosis of anything of any kind or medical anything of any kind. I don't do that. Others do that. What I do is present some things from another way of looking at them to see if they can be of some help. I put another spin, another angle outside the box for those who struggle. So I'm reaching out. I'm reaching out to help them. See if in this that I presented to those in attendance on that day and how I presented it to them, you too, can find some new and helpful understanding. This is an outside-the-box, another approach recovery seminar for those alcoholics and addicts who struggle with their sobriety, many of whom have relapsed again, and yes, yet again. See if it helps you. Here's the seminar. All right, the name of this seminar is Before the Drugs and Alcohol and Other Wrongs. Long title, huh? Let me say it again. Before the drugs and alcohol and other wrongs and other wrongdoings. How's that? That's a good one. Before the drugs and alcohol and other wrongdoings. And for anybody listening, group here today, alcoholics and addicts, been in and out. Let me see how many people been in and out of AA and NA. Let me see hands here. Look at that. How many been in and out of, how many been in rehabs? Let me see hands on that. Whoa. How many been in jail? I'm going to do this. These are people who didn't get it. Doesn't mean whatever anybody heard. Got to be sure to say this. Anybody heard in rehab or in AA or NA doesn't mean that was wrong. It means that some people need something, they need something a little more maybe to kick it or to ignite a spark, something that they need. And so in presenting before such an audience, which I've done a lot of years, and always people who didn't get it. So if people got it, they don't want to hear what I have to say. But for people who haven't gotten it, this can make a difference, and has for a lot of people who say such things as, I never looked at it that way, or I never understood that. I never would have even, some say, I never even thought of that. So let me do that for you here today. Before the drugs and alcohol and other wrongs or other wrongdoings, okay? Before all of that, before whatever the wrongdoing, and possession of drugs is a crime. It is a criminal act. Possession is a crime. Therefore, it is a wrongdoing. How many can see this? Come on. It's a criminal act. Do you realize that? Yeah, possession is a criminal act. And somebody said, yeah, but what about alcohol? I mean, it's not a crime to buy and drink alcohol. Well, I know, but keep in mind in the audience here, and those of you here who are alcoholics, if you're an alcoholic, you've damaged the lives of a lot of people who love you, who care about you. You've also damaged your own life. You damage your life. Sometimes you become homeless over that. Alcohol can lead to losing your job. How many can see that? Losing your family. So it may not be a criminal act where the cops are going to come arrest you. And to drink it when you are an alcoholic and have had trouble over it, it is a crime of the heart. It becomes a wrongdoing. Just listen now. It's one of the wrongdoings. And when we engage in wrongdoing, now what I said on the blackboard, and other wrongdoings. So how many here stole to get the drugs? Let me see hands. That's a wrongdoing. Can you see that? How many have been involved in an assault of some kind? That's a wrong. Hands are going up, so you know. You see that? Many wrongdoings. Isn't that true? How many of you lied about it? Come on. Wrongdoing. How many of you abandoned your kids over it? Let me see hands. Wrongdoing. How many of you had your kids crying over your behavior? Let me see hands. A lot of hands on that. Now, I want to show you this. Before the wrongdoing, before you got the drugs in your hand, before you went to the liquor store or before you went to the cabinet to get the alcohol, okay? Something wrong going on inside of you produced a wrongdoing outside of you, using your hands and your feet and your mouth. How's that? So the wrongdoing started inside of you. How many can understand that? What was the wrong inside of you? What kind of wrong inside of you was going on that caused you to purposely and willfully commit a crime such as possession, or to commit a crime such as stealing, commit a crime destroying your family, having the children crying, a home that's in total chaos? That's the wrongdoing, but it didn't happen when you caused it and they cried. It didn't happen when the cops handcuffed you. It didn't happen when you held up the liquor store or held up whatever it was. The problem, see this on the blackboard for anybody listening, it says before the drugs and alcohol and other wrongdoing, before. So I'm talking about before the actual wrongdoing. It was inside of you. There's a thing going on inside of you. What's that song? Me and Mrs. Jones, we got a thing going on. There's a thing going on inside of you, baby. How's that? What is the thing, Rev? What are you getting at here? You may say to yourself, I've been in AA, I've been in NA, and I've been in rehab. Ain't nobody talking about this, a thing going on inside of me. Before, you talk about before. Yeah, if I can catch before, and if I can clean the before zone up, then there ain't going to be any more wrongdoing. How many can see that? The before. If I can get to the before zone, I don't want to talk to you about alcohol and drugs. I don't want to talk about it. I'm talking about before. I'm into the before zone. Before you do anything. The area of the before zone. Just listen now. In the area inside you. Wow. In the area of the before that goes on inside of you. It's going on in there. Just listen now. It's moving in there. It's the before. You don't have any alcohol in your hands. You got no drugs in your hands. You are not any place stealing anything. It's the before. It's the before. Before. And when the before breaks loose, pow! Then it happens. The before zone burst out. The before was inside of you. And now it's out. You got the drugs in your hands. You see that? Now it's out. You got the handcuffs. Now it's out. You're facing 2.5 to 6. The before zone was where the trouble was. It wasn't in the drugs. It wasn't in the liquor. It wasn't in the holdup. It was in the area of the before zone. How many can see this? And in the before zone is a sickness. They say, yes, the sickness is alcoholism and drugism. Yeah? Well, I'll tell you what. How about there's a sickness called the beforeism, in which the whole thing, the whole map, the whole thing is in the sickness of the beforeism inside of you. It's in you, you have inside of you this thing. Many people have heard it, but I tell again that it got a thing inside of you called a wanna do what I wanna do. That lives in the before zone, in a zone inside of you where it calls out to you inside. I wanna do what I wanna do. It don't matter. I wanna do what I wanna do. I'm getting, you're saying in yourself, the before zone You talking to your own head. I want to do what I want to do, and I want to do it so bad. I want to do it so much that I want to do it at all costs, even if it costs me all. There's no drugs in your hand. There's no holdup. There's no robbery. Your kids ain't crying. The home is stable. And here it is in the before zone. I want to do what I want to do. How many can attest to this? How many raise their hand and say they've seen that? It's inside of you in a zone in there. And here it is in the before zone. I want to do what I want to do. And you want to do what you want to do at all costs. That's the area where the sickness lives, inside of you. Something wrong was going on inside of you. It don't live in a bottle of alcohol. The sickness don't live there. The before ain't there. There's nothing there but death in the damn bottle. It don't live in the drugs. It don't live in the vial. It don't live in the weed or the heroin. The sickness lives inside of you. And here it is in the before zone. I want to do what I want to do. You seeing this? And it's in the before zone. So if you're going to look at this and you say, okay, I agree I have the sickness. Whoa. Hang in here for just a moment. Got to make this clear. Alcoholism and drug addiction are both known as a sickness and or a disease. So when I use the words sickness or disease as I present to the struggling alcoholic and addict, listen, I'm not making a diagnosis. Back to the seminar. So the sickness lives inside the human being. And that's where you got to attack it in the before zone. If you're talking about your use, what are you doing talking about your use? The use, it's all over, man. You used. But if you sit down and you start to discuss the before zone, why it is you want, what is the wanna? It's a wanna. It's so powerful. Can you see it? I want to do it. I'm going to do it at all costs, you say to yourself, even if it costs me all, even if I lose my kids, even if you say to yourself, even if CPS takes my kids, I'm going to do it, even if CPS says, if you do that again, you can't have your kids back. It ain't in the bottle, vial, or the bag. It's in the before zone, inside the human being, who doesn't even bother with right from wrong, doesn't bother with consequences, nothing. Oblivious to it. So when I do this, I say, there's consequences. In the before zone, I want to insert this in there. In the before zone inside of you, I want to insert the consequences. In the zone, inside, in your mind, where the wanna starts and the gonna starts, I want to put the consequences. I want to say to you, in the before zone, inside of you, before anything goes on, you already know the price of the drugs. How many know the price of the drugs? Hands down. How many know the price of the alcohol? So if you know the price of the alcohol and you know the price of the drugs, what I'm saying is that's the price in the zone, in the before zone, before you do it. Before it bursts out of your head into your hands and your feet and the doing. There's a final cost that has nothing to do with the price. Can everybody understand that? And that final cost, when it comes time, you can't pay it. And sometimes the final cost, listen, disfigures your life. The final cost can disfigure the life of your children. The final cost can disfigure any semblance of a home, any semblance of a family. The final cost, after you paid the price for the drugs and whatever else, the final cost can be prison. That information has to get inside in the before zone, inside of your, where this whole thing is happening, inside of a dangerous neighborhood. What do you mean a dangerous neighborhood? Why, cop? Yeah. Your mind is the dangerous neighborhood where you cop first. How many can see that? In your mind, isn't that where you know the spot is in your mind? Isn't that right? Isn't the liquor store in your mind? Isn't that the dangerous neighborhood in the before zone? How many can say they can actually taste the drugs in their mind before they go to the spot that's in their mind? Can you see it? Taste the liquor? All in the dangerous neighborhood, and there you go with whatever money you have to pay the price or get the credit. But man, the final cost, you can't pay. You don't have enough to pay the final cost. Who's got enough to pay the final cost of losing their kids? Who's got enough to pay the final cost, listen to me, of losing your home, your family? Who the hell can pay the final cost of 2.5 to 6? In the zone, the before zone, that says, man, there was a guy named Rev. He said some things. He said there's a before zone going on inside, and that's where it all starts. Now, sitting here or in any other seminar, there's people say, I don't want to put the information in my before zone. I don't like you, Rev. I don't like the way you present. One guy said, you're an arrogant bastard. Listen, it's okay. And I'm very passionate when I do these seminars in an effort to help you. Can you understand that? And I pull out all stops and I really go at it. But I show you things you haven't seen in a way in which you haven't seen them. If I don't do it this way, what am I going to do? Stand up there and talk like yeah. Come on. If it's not passionate, it's got a kick. It's got to have some life to it. It's got to have some light to it to be able to say, listen, is this penetrating? Like one picture's worth 1,000 words. I speak 1,000 words so you get the picture. How many get the picture here today? A picture is light, photons. You get the light, you see the light. You say, okay, what the man is saying, there is a zone inside of me, you say to yourself, where this whole thing goes on. I rehearse it. It's going on there. Rev said it. I could stop it there, you say to yourself. You say to yourself, I could stop the whole thing there. How do you stop it? You go to someone, a sponsor. Maybe you go to 3 or 4 different people. You say to them, in the before zone, in the spirit of my mind, in the before zone, in the spirit of my mind, you say to them, this is what's going on. It hasn't burst out of the before zone yet. It hasn't moved into my feet moving or my hands moving or my going to do the wrongdoing. You say to them, I'm thinking about the wrongdoing in the before zone. And you go get help. If you want help. If you don't want the help, then you go do it. You go pay the price. If you don't get help, then you're going to pay the final cost. And the final cost is always, always, always more than you can possibly afford. Never is it not. But in that before zone where you can stop it, you say, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to say it again. You go to someone, a sponsor. Maybe you go to 3 or 4 different people and you can explain there's a before zone inside of me. And in the before zone, there's wrongdoing thinking. There's thinking of wrongdoing. I'm going to doing what is wrong. The drugs aren't doing anything, but I'm thinking of going and doing to get them. Help me. They're not responsible for stopping you. You are responsible for stopping you. Go get the help. And you have to expose the before zone to people who are willing to help you, and they try. They do all they can do. In the final analysis, just listen. The final cost is not their responsibility. The final cost that you're going to pay for the wrongdoing, for the alcohol, for the drugs, for the things that cost you to lose your family, that final cost is yours. Here's how it works. Everybody in this room has life in them. If you don't have life, you're dead. Life is a gift from God. Life is called life energy. There is a life energy and a life force inside of you. You've been given that as a gift. If you want to convert the life energy that God gave you into wrongdoing, to create a condition in your life, listen, that is the final cost. Don't blame anybody you went to for help. That life energy that God gave you, it's called life. We all have it. And each of us converts the life energy into behavior that creates conditions and circumstances. And it all happens, listen careful, in the before zone. In the before zone, you formulate it in your mind, and then you convert it. You take the life energy, and you take whatever you're thinking about, whatever plans you're making in the before zone for wrongdoing, and zap, you converted the life energy into behavior. The behavior produces the conditions. The behavior produces the circumstances of your life. You didn't wound up nowhere. You did it by your behavior, by your attitude, by your wanna, what you wanna when you wanna, and you're gonna, regardless of the cost, even if it costs you all. How's that? Hey, if you found this Outside the Box recovery seminar that I just presented helpful to you, then share it. Share it with friends on Facebook and on Twitter and on your other social media accounts. You may help someone else's recovery by doing that. Well, that's the seminar. It's important, however, to understand that it's not offered as a replacement for your participation in the treatment and self-help programs that are available. It's offered to you for the purpose of opening new understanding and to encourage you to get into the appropriate self-help and treatment programs that are available for your life. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you around.